kids, welcome to Weeb and Tonic podcast. I'm Weeb.
I'm here too.
He's Tonic, which doesn't really work, as we were discussing in the car. That, Tonic's the non-alcoholic portion, which is not what we're doing tonight, because both of us are drinking. What's our wine pairings, quotations, because they're not really wine. Well, mine is. Mine's...
Sort of?
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, Boone's Farm is wine. I mean, kind of. So my wine pairings for the night are Mike's Hard Lemonade and Boone's Farm's Strawberry Fields, or whatever the fuck it is. I'm a pussy drinker. I don't drink fun stuff all the time. I like whiskey sours and apparently gin and tonic, which we found out tonight, but not tonight.
Yeah, I'm drinking some gin and tonic. Not good gin and tonic, mind you. It's plastic bottle gin and 60-cent tonic. So if you're wondering where we are, there you go.
It is good enough gin and tonic.
It's passable. And I'm probably gonna have some red wine later.
Cool. So this is Weeb and Tonic. We finally have a name for it because we didn't last time.
Hey.
And we are here as a married duo to discuss bi-weekly anime that is airing currently and general anime and otaku culture. I am more versed in the anime world than my husband, but he is well aware of what goes on.
I try not to be. I try to watch it and keep everything else out, but...
It just seeps its way in.
It does.
It'll get there.
Granted, I left a big open doorway in you, so...
Sorry. So, speaking of it'll creep in there where you least expect it, high school weeaboo clubs, they're not anime clubs, right? Because they're just weeaboos.
Yeah, no, because no one that isn't a weeaboo would be caught dead in a high school anime club.
Right.
Right.
Myself included. Like, me and Katie specifically did not go into them. We went into them once, and we were like, nah.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed when I was in high school.
We went to the same high school, yeah.
At the point I was watching quite a bit of anime, actually. And had I known it existed, I still would not have gone. Which shows that I haven't been completely retarded all my life.
This was brought up specifically as like a discussion point because I was watching some Weeaboo cringe compilations.
Which are beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Thank you to everyone who makes them because I love laughing at what I could have been and was not.
Still are.
Fuck you. I have never in my life been that cringy. And you're cringing at the fact that I outed you for building Gundam models last episode?
Fuck you, we're cutting that out of the post.
No, we're not. It wasn't cut out in the first episode.
God damn it.
So, moving on from anime weeb clubs, because neither of us joined them, but know that if you're in one, you should get out. It's not the right...
Run while you still can. Take your friends, take your family, and run, goddammit.
It's not the right area to get into stuff. Now, this is where our big discussion group brings in, right? Because, like, I started a Discord server, and I want to elicit discussion. So here's your big question of the day. Are high school anime clubs passable because they allow you to, like, associate with fellow people with your common interests and see the bad and the good of it, or are they awful and cringy and you should just stay away from them because it just kind of ruins you as a person?
So, I'm just going to chime in here, feel free to disagree, but I feel like everyone in the club just sort of becomes as weeby as the most weeby person, which means very bad things, right? Just like you can go into one being not that much, and like, not that much of a weeb. And if you're sitting there surrounded by a bunch of people who are, then you're either going to run, or you're going to become a massive weeb. So I think they're just sort of like breeding grounds for the worst part of otaku culture.
Alcohol update. Month-old Boone's Farm. 2-month-old. Actually. So it was from, like...
No, it's
well, oh god, it was. It was, like, before our wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
Is it?
It's, like, fermented a little bit. Not, like
That's
fermented.
What does, yeah,
but, like...
It's stronger as it sits.
But it's, like... It was kind of... like fizzy before, and now it's not.
No.
Like it was when I poured it, and it was pretty good right away, but now it's like flat and really bitter. Not great, Boone's Farm. Don't drink 3-4 month old Boone's Farm, kids.
Don't do it.
I don't know. You tried it and you were like, it's not the worst.
Well,
Like
yeah,
on a
like,
bad budget, like not bad.
Coca-Cola, like, which is pretty much what it tastes like. Not like Coca-Cola. I'm not gonna try it. It's just bad juice.
It is. It is just bad juice. Bad juju. Bad juju juice. So, moving on to our actual, like, big long starter.
Oh, no. You cannot open that until you finish the Boone's Farm.
What? But it's so bad.
You can dump it out then?
Oh my god, why do you have to get me when I'm stingy?
You don't have to chug it.
Yeah, I do, because it needs to be gone.
Well, at least prepare a chaser as a follow-up. Learn to take a shot properly.
Fuck that. Good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. If you needed a shot for Boone's Farm, I was gonna look down as a person.
Yeah, no.
On you as a person.
Yeah, no.
Fuck.
I don't need a shot chaser for Boone's Farm.
I'm really bad at words tonight. Can we just not do this?
No. Nope.
Okay, well, it's gonna be a fucking hack editing job. Because
I can do it.
the amount of off time and whispering into the mic about selling my soul for sponsors that I just did is probably shameful.
Okay. So, continuing, anime starter packs.
Right.
This is a big deal, because when people get into anime, like, they're like, I want to start watching anime. I have specific friends from high school that, like, they didn't watch anime until after they were college age. So, like, they went to college, started doing their job, and they're like, hey, this anime thing's pretty cool.
Said no one ever.
Said a lot of people I've talked to.
This anime thing is pretty cool. No. If you're past college and getting into anime, it's because you don't give a fuck if it's cool or not anymore.
Well, like, because, like, at that age, you don't care if anything's cool or not.
Yeah, no, like,
it's cool
you're
to you
over,
and you're enjoying it and you
you're
like it.
over trying to be cool, but I don't think anyone has ever found
No, it's not
anime.
like
It's like
preppy
Dungeons and
cool.
Dragons.
It's
like, you can love Dungeons and Dragons, but no one's going to tell you that it's cool.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I mean pretty cool as in, like, a way to say, oh, I like it.
Well, yeah, okay, and you can like it, but
Whatever.
you're not going to be slaying mad pussy talking about anime.
You did.
Yeah, never mind, cut that.
Yeah.
Because I won, apparently.
So,
Chances aren't great, is what I'm trying to say.
we're gonna cover both the series that are considered quote-unquote starter packs and stuff that people watched that were their starter pack. So, like, the old starter packs, right? Back when we were kids. Were, like, Full Metal Alchemist, Inuyasha, Naruto, Death Note, Bleach, One Piece, like, those are the ones that you watched as a kid, so that's the one you, like, tell everybody, these are what you should start with. My personal starter pack was Trigun, Wolf's Rain, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, Inuyasha, Death Note. Death Note was actually my gateway to manga. I watched anime, but long before I read any manga. So, like, my personal starter pack was heavily influenced by the fact that, like, I watched anime with my brother, as opposed to, like, you know, this is what I was told to watch. So, it was kind of the starter pack, but it was, I don't know, like, I enjoyed Wolf's Rain and Trigun, which weren't really part of starter packs. And yours were?
Yeah, so I started with manga, actually, before I started watching anime. Mostly just due to the fact that I was a giant nerd and would go to the bookstore, like, every other week. And when you go to Barnes & Noble all the time, eventually you manage to find yourself in the hellhole that is the anime section. Or manga section, or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm pretty sure at Barnes & Noble they called it the anime section. Like, I don't think they ever said
sure
manga
it was the
section.
anime section, at least until, like, 2015.
Yeah, where people were like, hey, that's not
that's
really...
not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started actually reading manga before I watched anime, and the first manga I read was Rurouni Kenshin. And then I went into Death Note and some other series that aren't worth mentioning. But then I started watching anime basically with, like, the Toonami block. You know, your Narutos, your Bleaches. Yu Yu Hakusho was one that I watched, but, like, I remember watching it, but I don't remember watching it, if that makes any sense.
You don't remember, like, the specifics about it. You just remember that you did watch it.
I don't even remember. I would say I remember one or two characters from the series, but I can remember watching it because it came on, like, after Naruto.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I might as well watch it, but it
I
did
feel like
not.
that's how everyone views that whole era. Like, it came on before or after Naruto, so
yeah,
I
it
either
didn't-
sat through it to watch Naruto, or I watched Naruto and then watched it, because it was just still on.
Yep.
So we're talking now about like the new starter pack, which is like everybody tells you to watch these ones, and I've seen this happen, and it enrages me. Half of these series are you know me, you know I don't like half of these. Sword Art Online. We've discussed last episode why neither of us really care for a lot of it. Like you liked the first season, and the first season's not awful, but like I'm not gonna go into it again, but. Like, it's on there. Attack on Titan, which neither of us like.
Is a pile of ass garbage.
Sam really likes it, and I can get why you do like it, right? Like, I can get why it's likable. I don't like it. And I don't like it as a starter pack anime, either. Like, that's what we're discussing. Not so much, like, how good the series is by itself.
Okay, so Attack on Titan to me is like the mashed potatoes of anime, right? Like, sure, it could be good, but it's so fucking bland. You know what I mean?
I watched the first 4 episodes and didn't really care for it, so I didn't get into
Right,
it.
and like it's not bad.
And I've heard the manga's fucking amazing, but
Like, I would say the animation's good, the story's probably good. I haven't seen enough to care about it, but it just feels so bland to me.
I could get that, yeah.
I don't see a reason to watch it, I guess.
The issue I have with it is, like, I don't want it on the starter pack, because A, it's a little gory for a starter pack.
Right.
Like, starter packs need to be something that, like, eases you into the water. Like, you're not gonna go jumping headfirst into really cold water. If you do, you're a fucking psycho. Or, like, you really hot, right? Like, you're really warm or you're a psycho. Because, like, you're gonna want to ease yourself in there.
Just like
So we have Kill la Kill, that's always on every single one of these lists, and I do not understand this.
Really?
To the end of time, I don't understand why Kill la Kill is on this list, because as an amazing of a series as it is, it is a series full of just in-otaku culture jokes that, like, it's almost unbearable to watch if you don't know those culture jokes.
Really?
Like, yeah, because, like, the fan
don't think
service...
so.
You know, though, you came from, like, an era of anime where you had already watched High School DxD. Right? So, like, fan service, you knew it was a part of the culture. But if you were to say to, like, anybody over the age of 20, go watch Kill la Kill as your very first anime, I don't think that's a good idea. Because they go in and say, what the fuck is with all the titties?
See, I know a lot of people who sort of did go into it with that mindset. Like, it was one of the first anime they'd ever watched. They didn't catch a lot of the
That's what I mean, though.
references or in-culture jokes.
It's like
and
it's
they
not
still
as
really
fun
liked
that
it.
way.
No, I would say it's not as fun. I would say it's a good starter pack anime, but it's also an anime that you have to put on your rewatch list.
I guess,
sure.
I just think, like...
I think
I know a lot of people don't do rewatch lists, though. Once they watch a series, they're over it. So I think the fact being that is the case, I don't think Kill la Kill's a very good, like, series for a starter pack, just because, like, I want you to watch that series when you can get it. I want you to watch that series when you can fully enjoy it to its full. I watched it when it first came out, the first 4 episodes, didn't really like it, dropped it. Later went back and watched it because it was on Toonami, and I was like, oh, it must be good enough to get a dub, might as well watch it. Watched it in sub, amazing series, fantastic, really enjoyed it, would love to do a rewatch. But I do know from watching it, from my perspective, I would not have enjoyed that if I hadn't gotten all the jokes about otaku culture and the references and the, like...
Right.
Like, it just feels so... It almost feels like something that's supposed to be there for, like, experienced users. Like, it's accessible to other users, but it's not, like... You don't enjoy it as much as you should. And I think that kind of doesn't give it as much oomph. It doesn't give it as much, like, credit for what it does.
Right, so I guess it can go on the starter pack with an asterisk next to it, right?
Yeah, like, if you watch this, you have to rewatch it later.
Or
like,
even, like, if you want to watch this, go for it. If you don't want to watch it now, do yourself a favor and do it later, because it'll be 100 times better then.
Yeah. One Punch Man is on the starter list, and I'm not disagreeing with this. Like, I know I'm saying it's on the starter list. I'm not disagreeing with it. I think it's a fantastic introduction from, like, American superhero culture and comic culture into anime culture. I think it's a great transition, because it gets, like, the tropes in, it gets, like, the, you know, the kind of basic anime shonen storylines in, while also relating to American comic culture and superhero culture. And we'll cover how Boku no Hero does the same thing in a second here, but that one's not yet on the starter pack, so I don't really want to include it in this list or talk about it just yet.
I recently finished my watch of One Punch Man, and you haven't seen... How much of it have you seen?
I've seen probably the first half.
Yeah.
And, like, bits and pieces of the last half.
Right.
Like, I watched it passively, I guess is the best way to say that. Like, I saw enough clips of it that I know exactly what the story does. Right. And I do want to watch it through, but my backlog is so long that One Punch Man is not at the top of my, like, priority list.
Okay. So this went from someone who just finished watching it maybe a week ago?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, not even a couple, I wouldn't think.
I think it would be like a week and a half because we've been watching BNHA.
Right, about a week and a half. I'm not sure how to feel about the series.
I'd like to pause.
Which is to say?
It is August. Somebody's setting off fireworks outside.
Or we're being bombed. So if you see this and North Korea isn't attacking us, then it's fireworks. If it is, then you realize just how hopelessly ignorant we are to everything happening around us.
Yay! Anyway, One Punch Man.
Yeah, so One Punch Man. I'm not sure how to feel about it. And that I know I really, really like it. But I'm not sure if it belongs on a starter pack.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, and maybe it's just because I've watched enough anime at this point to where it doesn't really stand out to me. But it's like, it's a series that's really good, but it also feels just sort of bland.
I guess I could see that. Yeah, like its
its
story doesn't go particularly anywhere, right?
Yeah, so
like
if you're trying to introduce someone to anime and you're trying to get them hooked on this style of television, or whatever you want to call it, I don't think starting them off with One Punch Man is a great place, just because it feels like it's...
I think it heavily depends on the person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, if somebody's, like, super into, like, Batman, Superman, American... Oh my god, I'm burping. This is disgusting. American comic culture. I think One Punch Man's an excellent starter. Just because, like, they're used to kind of that mundane beginning and that and then, like, coming into a climax. Like, they're used to seeing that with, like, The Flash and stuff like that. So they're used to seeing that, and, like, the transition into, this is a superhero, this is how I train to be a superhero, we're not going to cover that, this is what he does, this is why he does it. Like, I think that'd be appealing to them.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's why it doesn't really fit there to me, is because I'm not a big superhero person.
Yeah.
Like, I like them, but I wouldn't rush out to watch. Like,
right.
So starting, what is it, a couple days from now, new Netflix show, new Marvel Defenders, I think it's called.
Yep.
Which is like Iron Fist, Daredevil, the other people, Jessica Jones, and like it sounds interesting, and I liked the Iron Fist on Netflix. But I'm not rushing out.
You're not gonna rush to watch it.
And I think that's maybe the same way I feel about One Punch Man, is like, I really liked it for when I watched it, but like...
You're not rushing out to go tell everybody to watch it, yeah.
I'm not rushing out to recommend it to everybody, and
I think that's...
putting it on my rewatch list because it was such a great series. Like, I thought it was funny, and I thought it was good for however many episodes it was, 13, 26, I can't remember if it was one season or
I think it
two.
was one season. I'm not sure.
I
don't know, like, that's why I think it's on a starter pack, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's a, with an asterisk if you like superheroes.
Yes, yeah.
Like, and I'm into superhero culture, I'm more into DC than Marvel, but, like,
Wrong, but okay.
well, whatever, I find it, you and everybody else on the fucking internet, I think it's just, like, I think it's a good transition. I would argue that maybe BNH is a better transition, but we'll get to that.
I would say if One Punch Man is on your starter pack, I would put it down the list. It wouldn't be the first anime I would watch.
Yeah, well,
Just
like,
because
see,
then
it's
I
one of
wouldn't
those
get
things where it's
why
like...
I'm watching anime and not just watching a Netflix Marvel series.
Watch it for enjoyment and, like, for a transition, but make sure immediately after you tell the person to watch something else. Like, yeah, this is a great transition because it covers a lot of, like, the culture, like, it removes the culture shock, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it lets you get into, like, the style and start to learn how the animation is gonna look, and then, like, immediately move them into something good. Like Full Metal Alchemist or something, because it's very American.
Something good, like Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, Full Metal Alchemist is, like, a Germanic world. Like, it lives in, like, Germany. like it takes place in like a Germany takes over world, not like a Nazis takes over world, but like in a Germany run.
Fullmetal Alchemist would be so much more interesting if it was Thine Fuhrer, but alchemy.
If it was literally Wolfenstein.
Or Man in the High Castle, but we can all do magic.
Yeah.
Like, it would be 100 times more interesting.
It'd be really
be
cool.
honest.
Actually, I think you should watch Curse of Shambhala then, because it's kind of similar.
Oh, awesome.
The movie. Anyway, so the final one that I see on starter packs all the time, and I'm gonna rant about this, and everybody's gonna disagree with me, but Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is always on the starter pack. Always. Constantly. And that makes me so angry, because it rushes through the series, and while it does follow the manga, that's why people like it. Right? They like it because they finished the anime series originally, wanted more, read the manga, and were like, oh man, I wish the anime had done the manga thing. And then Brotherhood came out and they were like, I'm doing the manga thing. And they're like, that's fucking cool, because they were so attached to the manga form of it that they wanted to see that story animated. And I think it almost has like a rose-colored glasses to it. Because when I watched Brotherhood, I was like, why is it so rushed? Why does it feel like Maze Hughes is, like, spoilers, by episode, like, 4? It's insane. Like, it just goes super fast. And I don't think...
Which is why I think I would enjoy Brotherhood 100 times more than FMA.
See, but the problem
because
is...
I feel like FMA just drags its heels for so long.
The problem
like,
is you think that it...
snooze fest.
You think it would be better, but it's not. Because it rushes to the point that it's... You can't keep up.
No, see, I'm
Like,
sure
stuff happens too quickly. It expects you to have already watched the first series in order to, like, understand why things happened or how they're connected. Like, there's no character introduction. It's like watching a recap episode. Like you said in our last episode, how you...
That's the only way I want to watch Fullmetal Alchemist.
You literally just said in the last episode that it's not fair to watch a recap episode of BNHA because it doesn't introduce characters and stuff.
That's not at all what I said.
I think... I just listened to it today.
Yeah, pull it up. I said if that's the route you want to go,
yeah,
go for it.
but
if you want to get the full story...
And that's what I'm saying. Is
and,
like, that's why I don't like
don't
Fullmetal Alchemist
really care for the
as...
full story, so I'm just going to watch Brotherhood.
I guess, but you've seen 4 episodes, so...
Yeah, and I hated probably 2 of them.
I'm gonna be honest, the first, like, 10 episodes of Fullmetal Alchemist, garbage.
So
Garbage
why don't you
episodes.
Just skip them and watch Brotherhood, because it just skips through them.
No, because, it doesn't even show those things. Right? So, like,
Beautiful.
No, you don't understand, because you've never seen literally any of this shit, and it's... Oh my god.
Again, getting back to that point where I'm just going to argue things to make people upsetty. Yeah.
You know, you're just giving the opinion everybody else is going to agree with. So that just makes me the shithole. But whatever, I'm used to being in the shithole. I'm a garbage person. Fuck me. But Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is not a good series in comparison to Fullmetal Alchemist Original as a starter pack. Because it rushes through story points to the point that it's not fair to the viewer. You don't get enough of the series to, like, actually enjoy it from what I've seen. Like, the whole first season is hard for me to watch. Because it just speeds through it, and I didn't remember enough of the original series when I watched it to, like, get why it was rushing through. I don't know, I just think Fullmetal Alchemist, if it's gonna be on your starter pack list, just put the original. And then say, definitely watch Brotherhood after, right? Like, it's just not... I don't know, I don't think it's good because it speeds through storylines and doesn't let you get attached to characters before crazy shit starts happening. So it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of a my personal opinion thing, but is generally accepted as, like, an okay thing, which is why it's on the starter pack. Everybody tells you to watch it. I just don't think you should, necessarily. But that's just because I wouldn't personally tell you to watch it. I don't know. Like, I guess I'm not saying it's a bad opinion to tell people to watch it. I just think it's not what I would tell you to do. I don't know. So we discussed... I mean, I guess we haven't really discussed. But this is the real-life anime starter pack according to us, Weeb and Tonic. From now on, this is the starter pack that you give people. From now on, forever. Sorry.
You have to yell while you do it, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Loud yelling.
I mean,
so
like...
it's the starter pack, asterisk, loud yelling, asterisk.
I mean, like, it was in all caps, so I was loud yelling, so...
Okay, well, now I know to break your caps lock key. So if you want to yell, you have to hold shift.
I always hold shift. I hardly ever turn my caps lock on.
So I'm just going to break the left side of your keyboard.
Please stop.
Shift.
So... New Weeb starter pack. Boku no Hero Academia, put that shit on there. It's a fucking amazing thing to start with. Eh?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Um, thought we agreed I wasn't just gonna sit here and read a script while you were quiet. Fuck.
Works.
Then we're gonna go into Trigun, Cowboy Bebop. There's a slash between these two because I think they're exchangeable depending on what you like genre-wise. So if you're super into like futuristic stuff, probably go to Cowboy Bebop. But if you like westerns, like if you just like to watch westerns, go watch Trigun and be surprised at like the fun sci-fi twists at the end. But they're both like excellent series from the same era, and they're just very good as series, so they just kind of fit well. You know, like they're good exchangeable. Watch them both, but if you only have time to watch one, choose the one you'd like better. I think Space Dandy should be on that, and you can argue that. I just think it's fun, like, as a later series to watch in your starter pack, just because, like, you're kind of getting into the anime tropes and stuff, and it's a good introduction to it, and it's made for an American audience. Like, it was specifically directed for an American audience. Same with Cowboy Bebop and Trigun. Death Note should stay on the starter pack. I just think it's a good series. I think it's solid. I think it definitely sits well. Durarara, I think, should be on a starter pack just because I think everyone should watch Durarara forever. I think it's a good way to get into slice of life without it being boring. As far as shoujo goes, like, if you just want to watch a girly anime, Ouran High School Host Club is an excellent anime, and so is Fruits Basket.
Yeah. I agree with pretty much all of those. I think Space Dandy is kind of a bad series to have on there. Mostly because I don't know, I like comparisons. I would compare Space Dandy to Cotton Candy in that it might taste good, but it doesn't fill you up and it's gone in like 30 seconds.
I feel that,
like,
yeah. No, I totally get it. I can't recall most episodes of Space Dandy.
And it's one of those series that I don't feel like it's worth watching just because you have to spend your time to watch it.
See, like, I thought it was fun when it was an episode a week, right? And I think sitting down and watching, like, I would not do a rewatch of Space Dandy as much as I loved it. I love that series. Probably wouldn't rewatch it. Just because it's, like, it's fun to sit and do for 20 minutes, but it's not, like...
But if you could do anything else with those 20 minutes other than kill yourself, probably don't watch Space Dandy.
I feel like that's unfair. Well, I think it's fun.
So
if you want to, like...
opinion.
If you just want to take, like, an hour every day, or every week, and watch a couple episodes of Space Dandy, yeah, that might be fun for you.
Some things I would add. Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is a Gundam series, or Code Geass. Now, sort of the differentiation between these two is, like, if you're in for robots fighting, classic Gundam, watch Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's not all robots fighting, mind you. There is some politics to it. There is some intrigue. However,
I liked it. I don't like fighting robots, and I really liked it, so...
If what you're in for is mostly the politics and the intrigue and stuff like that, watch Code Geass. Because they're basically two different sides of the same coin. Code Geass is more on the political side, with some fighting robots. Iron-Blooded Orphans is more on the fighting robot side, with some politics. Either way, if you watch one or both of them, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
I feel that. I still haven't actually watched Code Geass, just because, like, it was fighting robots, quotes. So I just, like, didn't really expect to enjoy it, so I didn't watch it when I was younger, right? And I think I'd really enjoy it now. Like, I watched some of the second season and really liked it. But I know what it's about, and I know that it's a good starter pack anime. I know it's a great introduction to the series and the genre. So we're actually going to move into our bi-weekly anime season catch-up. I figured I'd cover Token Ranbu first, just because, like, I'm the only one watching that one. And I was like, well, maybe I should... I'm the only person ever watching Token Ranbu. I, honest to God, wouldn't doubt that. It's the same thing with Kantai Collection. Like, I could have been literally the only one watching that, and it would not surprise me. So I finally did catch up on Token Ranbu. It took, like, a whole afternoon and just, like, sat down and watched a bunch of shit I needed to keep up on. See, like, but you said... Oh, what, is it bad? Oh, did your Orange Crush vape not work well with your, Gin and tonic?
No, that it just tastes like cough syrup
Oh,
now. Like, just no flavoring, it just tastes like cough syrup.
that sucks.
Like that medicinal.
Because you watered it down, or
Mhm.
because it's just gone flat?
Not even that, like, it's still got carbonation. Just.
I still like it.
It's not bad at first.
I still
Wait
like it.
for the aftertaste stage. It'll take a minute to settle on your tongue.
Nah, I'm kind of still just getting the evergreen thing. I like it. I apparently like gin and tonic more than you do.
It just tastes like cough medicine.
I guess. I guess I never really hated the taste of cough medicine. So, I guess I'm not noticing it as much.
I'm fucking triggered.
Anyway, I might be the only one watching Gcon, or, not Gcon, Token Rambu. Don't care. Don't care. Like, it's not great anyway. If they were to cancel this right now and say we're not making any more episodes, I'd be cool with that. Another thing about it is, like, it's, like, the fight scenes in it are fucking awesome. And, like, I'll get back to this after we talk about Jikan no Shihaisa. No, Chronos Rulers? Is that what it's called in English? Whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about this when we're done with that. But I, like, the fight scenes are awesome, and the story is subpar. So I used to play Kantai Collection by using, like, a proxy service and a translator and a helper and whatever. But I've never played Token Rambu. In fact, at first when I started watching the series, I didn't even realize it was like a game. I didn't realize it was like just like a Kantai Collection clone. Like I think in these new episodes, one of the new characters is a fan favorite, but I'm not sure. I assume he's a fan favorite because there's figures of him, right? Any better? No.
I'm still just getting, like, it cuts through.
So, like, the series was fine, right? Like, I would have rated it the 5. Fine. Like, it's not great. It's fine. Up until episode 4 or 5, where, like, they started fighting some really cool shit, and when they were fighting the really cool shit, it was animated really cool, and I thought some characters died. They didn't. But I thought they did, and that's, like, enough intrigue to get me into it, right? Mm-hmm. And it was those episodes were probably like the turning point in the series. I think was one of the best anime episodes I've watched in a long time. Like as an OVA would have been amazing. Otherwise, it's not really worth your time. I would argue that if you're not watching this Token Rambu to like keep up with us and you're not really enjoying it, don't. Just drop it. Like if you're not enjoying it, don't watch it. I'm watching it for the cute boys and the big fights. Like that's why I'm watching it. Sorry. That's how that works. It's what it's there for. So, last week on episode 6, we met another group of sword boys, which I don't know if I covered what this series is about last episode, but basically, historical Japanese swords turned into people. They fight the History Retrograde army, which is trying to change history and make the future shit, I guess. It's not very well explained in the same way that Kantai Collection's villains weren't explained. It's just not supposed to be. It's dumb, and it's supposed to be dumb. So, like, we meet a new group of sword boys, they're fan favorites, and they're sugoi and strong and stuff. Like, that's their whole character. Just, like, they're really cool, and they're super strong, and they're kinda hot. Like, that's their whole thing. And pretty much, I think, like, almost those entire words were used describing them. So this week on Token Rambu, we actually covered more with these guys, and they fought a guy. They fought some retrograde guys. The mission starts as like there's a haunted mask and a street slasher, but really it's just the History Retrograde army, and they gotta fight it. Like that's the whole series, really. Here's some characters, they gotta fight some stuff. So, you've caught up on Jikan no Shihaisa or Chronos Ruler, right? Just by watching it like over my shoulder while you're playing a game.
Yeah.
So last week on episode 5, I don't remember their names, so I wrote Water Asshole and Fire Asshole fought each other, and Victo and the daughter of the god Kronos finished fighting. It was neat. There's not a ton to talk about. These fights feel slow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm considering the series dropped at this point.
Same.
It's
Like, I'm still watching it, but I don't wanna.
yeah, like the fights are interesting, and the story seems okay in the parts that you do get story, but it seems so like slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being fed through an IV drip.
Yeah.
Like,
That's like the exact
it's
definition
good
of
when
it,
you
yeah.
get it, but fuck, you don't get it often.
No.
And you know, we're what, 7 episodes in or something?
Even the fights, like the story's there, and it's like that, but the fights are like that too. Like
Yeah.
they spend so much time explaining what the fuck they did instead of just showing me what they did. Like I could tell when Victo sped up those cards and then slowed down them as well, and like he took some and had them sped up, and then he had some behind it that were slowed down, and like I could tell that's what happened because when the opponent he was fighting controlled his cards and like slowed down the ones that were sped up so that they wouldn't come at her, the slowed down ones sped up and hit her anyway. Like he didn't have to spend 20 minutes explaining that. I got it. It made sense. Like it didn't need to yeah. And you're right. It's like being fed with an IV drip. It's
Like, the series is passable, but only just. And
kinda.
I've got no reason to watch it. Like, unless it's super good, there's no reason to waste my time watching it, is how I feel. So
It sucks because it was really interesting at first, and it
yeah, like, the first episode was good to draw me in, but after that, it's just been a steady decline.
yeah, I don't know.
Some moments of brilliance, but
Other than that, it's just been kind of, like there's been some
Mostly
moments in
garbage.
fights that were like, "Oh shit." And then they spent 5 more minutes explaining what happened. Like, yeah, I caught it the first time. I got you. So like same. I'm constantly teetering between dropping the series and watching it because like 20 minutes for me isn't a ton of time to spend on something that's mediocre but a little enjoyable. But I totally get why you would just want to drop it because it's just not worth your time because it's kind of not. Like I feel like this and Token Rambu. Like if you're not watching it to keep up with our discussions or because you're genuinely enjoying it, don't watch it. It's not worth it. Honestly, it's not great. We have this like primary female character, right? What's her fucking name?
yeah, I've got no idea.
Same. She's fucking awful. Like last episode I was like I hate her more than I hated Sakura when I first watched Naruto, which was a lot. Since then I've kind of come to like her a little bit, but like this new character, this female character, she's like pretending to be Victo's wife, or maybe she is Victo's wife or whatever. We know she's Kronos' daughter, and we know she's a whiny little bitch. Like, I just don't like her. She's fucking obnoxious. She stole, Black Rock Shooter's clothes, and that's who she is as a person. She stole Black Rock Shooter's clothes and Sakura's from the first season's personality of Naruto. Like, that's it. That's her whole character, and she's fucking obnoxious. And I don't want to hang out with her, and I'm sorry if you like her, but she's awful. Like, I'm supposed to feel bad for her, and I don't. It's not great for me. I do find it hard to sit through an episode of this without, like, just being bored all to hell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just boring. And I like the humor. Like, a lot of people are complaining about how they don't like the humor, but I think it's funny, but most of it's just, like, boring. I don't really enjoy it. I don't know, and as I was mentioning, we'd mentioned later during this, there's the difference between this series and Token Rambu is that Token Rambu's fight scenes, super great. This one's not so much. So, like, the fact that I have to watch so many episodes of characters just talking is obnoxious. Because at least with Token Rambu, like, there's enough character interactions where they all have personalities that they're fun, as opposed to this one where it's like, I'm tired of listening to you talk, and I don't really want to watch you fight. And, like, watching you fight is really awesome in Token Rambu. Watching you talk is less awesome, but I'll deal with it for the fighting. I just don't get that with this series. It's everything's boring.
Yep, everything's boring, everything sucks.
Sorry, kids. Jigoku Shoujo Yoi no Togi. We're gonna cover the last 2 episodes of this. Really great series so far. I'm enjoying it. Kind of wish the animation hadn't dropped off for 2 whole episodes out of a 12-episode series, but it does seem to have picked up. Last week on episode 4, the animation did finally pick up. It's passable now. It dealt with a retirement home where the staff was beating the hell out of their patients. One woman decides, one woman, not one of the staff, one of the patients, she decides that she's not gonna just let that shit fly. So she decides she's gonna send the director of the retirement home to hell because she's the one allowing it to happen. Seems to make sense to me. So by the end of it, she's like out of her skull with what is probably dementia.
Yeah.
Because she's like forgetting who people are. And like eventually she does pull the string, and she leaves like her notebook buried under a tree to be found later, and it documents like all of the mistreatment that happened. Juan Yudo, Mr. Wheel Fireman, one of Ai's helpers, may have fallen in love with her. We're not sure what happened with that.
Maybe.
He seemed pretty upsetty that she was gone.
Yep.
Yeah. Sugumi from season 1, if you guys even watched Jijoukou Shoujo at all, she's the little girl who can sense when Ai's presence is happening. In the first season, like, she follows Ai around and they try to solve the mystery of Hellgirl. That's the whole first season. She shows up and it's really cool because she senses that Ai's there, and she's like, hey, you need to fucking leave, because she's not really hype about it. But she's working as, like, a staff member. Obviously, she's not beating people. You okay? You're just standing over there squinting.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
So, the other half of this episode dealt with our new character, which I'm kind of angry about this whole gig. So, on episode 5 this week, we rehashed the last season's plot, for some fucking reason. So last season, a girl named Yuzuki was the next Hellgirl, which was extremely frustrating, because, like, she was just kind of dull as a character, and everybody likes Ai's design enough to not, like, want her to change. So apparently this season, Clamp did not fucking listen, and have decided to do that again. So this new girl, who I thought might have been, like, a new servant of Ai's, which I thought was going to be cool, is not. She's another Hellgirl candidate for some fucking reason. Even though the end of last season, spoilers for Mitsuganai, Ai saves Yuzuki from the fate of being Hellgirl by swearing to be Hellgirl forever. Like, she just decides, I'm going to do this job forever, you can go. Like, that's her punishment for letting Yuzuki go. So, like, otherwise the story was fine. I'm just kind of mad about that. In this episode, no string was pulled. Like, basically, some parents entrusted their 3 shithole kids to other parents in town who had a kid, and that kid was the only one who, like, was wearing a seatbelt and not dangling themselves out of a window on a curvy mountain trail. A traffic accident happens, the 3 boys die. The mom of one of the boys decides that she's gonna send the kid that survived to hell, but at the end decides not to.
Like a rational person.
Amazing. So, like, it's kind of nice to see that sometimes people pick up the strings, or pick up the Waraningos, and they just, like, don't. They just choose not to, because it's better not to. So our last discussion here is Boku no Hero Academia. D, you like this series, and I got a confession to make. After last episode bitching about how I definitely didn't want to watch the whole series through, and definitely didn't want to get into another 200 episode series, I kind of went through and watched the whole first season this week, and I really fucking love it. It's pretty great. I just ordered a couple more volumes of the manga, so I'll have 5 by the end of the week, and an Aizawa keychain / figure.
She's hooked.
I'm kind of really hooked. I love it a lot. It's really good. I'm super, super duper enjoying it. Yeah, it's bad. I'd like to point out that this series does feel like how we, like, enjoyed Naruto as kids. Like, we would watch it on Toonami and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And this series does feel kind of the same way. Like, it's just as fun.
It gives off sort of the same vibes. It's not... I don't know. I feel like it's not super pretentious, like a lot of anime has been nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It can sort of just do what it does, and it's fun, and it doesn't have to be...
Super serious all the time.
Super serious all the time. It doesn't have to be super flashy or cool. Like, it's It's just a feels-good show. Mm-hmm. And I mean...
It's got moments that are serious,
it's got
but
moments that are serious, and it doesn't feel good all the time. But in general, as a series, it's just sort of good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just fun.
It's just good for the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not trying to be something that it isn't. Like, it's a shonen anime.
No, and the author
and
is...
It's pretty typical.
Yeah, the author is straight up front, like,
It does it really, really well.
Yeah, he was like, I was heavily influenced by Masashi Kishimoto, and I really like his work of Naruto, and, like, I just kind of took what I liked from it and put my own spin on it, and I think it's good. Like, and I think it's arguably better than Naruto is.
Yeah, I think it's, as far as the genre goes, like, of shonen anime, I think it's probably
top-notch shit.
Yeah, a front runner right now in terms of, like, ways to do it good.
I mean, to the point that, like, Funimation decided to simul-dub.
Yep.
Like, they're up at 2 episodes behind, which we did decide to watch the dub as opposed to the sub, because we kind of like the voices better. Mm-hmm. So we're always, on these discussions, going to be 2 weeks behind of the sub. So don't give us spoilers in the Discord, I'll fucking kill you.
She will. I probably don't care that much.
I do.
But she'll murder you.
It matters a lot to me that I don't, like, get spoiled, just because I choose to be 2 episodes behind. So, like... Yeah, speaking of that, we decided to watch the dub for multitasking purposes. Mostly so you could, like, play your game and we could...
I could do other bullshit while I did bullshit, basically, is what it comes down to.
So I finally did catch up to where he was. We caught up... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're completely caught up to the dub now, right?
Yep, we're caught up as far as the dub goes, including the episode that released today.
So we are officially 2 episodes behind what released this Saturday.
In Japan, but not what released through Funimation.
Right. So we're behind the sub by 2 episodes.
Yep.
Officially. And we will continue to be that way.
Forever. Which means, after the last episode's air, and you guys are all like, oh man, Boku no Hero was really good. You have to wait another 2 weeks for us to be like, hey, Boku no Hero was really fucking good.
And
like,
at the point that the series ends, I'll probably watch the last episode or 2 subbed.
Yeah, just
so
because,
that
like...
I can not avoid spoilers for 2 weeks while people bitch about the ending.
Yeah.
But until that point...
Yeah, we're gonna be a couple episodes behind, which I think is fine.
Yeah, no.
The dub is very good.
Yeah, the voice acting is phenomenal.
It's awesome. Especially for a series that was, like, simul-dubbed for 14 episodes. Like, released on the same day that Japan released it, the same episode. Like, that's insane form of quality. And I've always liked Funimation's dubs. I'm sure we have some purists that might listen to us eventually that don't like dubs.
The only voice I don't like in the dub is Bakugo's. And it's not even that I don't like the voice, it's that I think the inflection the voice actor uses when saying the lines in English just sounds too edgy 5-me.
I feel like that's how he's supposed to feel as a character,
that's
though.
That's 100% stylistic, and it's how it's supposed to be, but it just bothers me.
I get
bothers
it.
Me so much.
I guess, like, watching so much subbed anime nowadays, I recognize that it sounds pretty much the same way in Japanese. Mm-hmm. Like, he sounds as obnoxious and cringy. Like, he's supposed to sound like the high school delinquent, and that's the type of voice he has in
it's
the
just
Japanese version.
Some of the expressions...
Yeah, definitely.
Like, when he says Deku... Just the
Deku!
Way, like the way he draws it out in his voice, like the inflection he puts on it, it just sounds awful to me.
In before somebody soundbiting me going Deku fucking 15 times.
Yeah, I'm on it already. Like,
damn it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'd like to take a moment to laugh at Tetsu. It's gonna give me a second to put that sound clip in, because it might be gonna be longer than how I say it.
Start. Stop.
Okay. Like I already covered that by mumbling, but alright. So, it's fucking funny. It's fucking funny. His name's fucking funny. It was the funniest thing I laughed at through this whole series. Like, I giggled at stuff, but I think I stopped to laugh for like 5 minutes at Tetsu.
Yeah, I don't get it, but okay.
It's fucking hilarious that his name is just, like, the idea that his parents, like, their last names were Tetsu, right? Which is whatever, like, it's a repeated name, but, like, that's kind of weird, but not really. Then they were like, what if we just named our kid Tetsu? So his name is Tetsu.
Would you do anything different?
Yes! Not name the poor kid Tetsu.
As a parent, you wouldn't.
I would not.
You would let that opportunity pass you by.
As a parent, I would never subject my kid to being made fun of constantly for his name being Tetsu 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 Tetsu. It's fucking awful. Oh my god, please don't name our kid anything like that.
Well, our name doesn't
Isn't
repeat.
Tetsu Tetsu,
So,
yeah.
you know, we already missed that opportunity.
So yeah, we finished the tournament arc, and it was really awesome. It was just super cool, like the fight scenes are neat.
That's the entire series, is like, the story is always good.
Story's
the fight
phenomenal.
scenes are always great. Like, I can't really find something to pick at about this series.
To be honest, because I watched the first season, and when I was rating it, I was like, I have no reason to call it a 9. I can't for the life of me place any reason why I don't like this, or don't think it's good, or don't think it's phenomenal. Like, it's a masterpiece in the best way possible.
And, like, even with me not liking one of the choices the voice actor for one of the characters made, right? Like, that's not enough to give it a 9.
No, that's not enough to give it a 9, because it's like, the story by itself is still great.
Yeah, like, it's the tiniest nitpick possible.
And it's not even like it's bad. It's not even like every time he talks you hate it.
No,
like it's just like not what you would have done.
He does one specific thing and it's just like
ick.
Ick.
Which almost is like just how people are. Like
yeah.
Sometimes the way they pronounce a word, like how Justin McElroy pronounces accruate. Shit fucking pisses me at accurate, whatever. It makes me angry.
If you're gonna mess it up, at least say it accurately.
I'm gonna die. I do like in the tournament that Deku loses at some point. Like, I think that's absolutely one of the greatest things you can do for a series like this, is let your protagonist lose every once in a while. Don't make him infallible. Don't make him constantly winning.
Unless he's One Punch Man. Because that's the entire character.
Like, that's his bit, yeah.
Right? So, like, unless your entire series centers around the fact that he's just comically overpowered, like, let him lose.
But Deku's not like that. Deku's so, like, trying to get a hold of his shit.
Yeah,
and constantly not knowing what he's doing.
That's sort of what bothered me about, like, your standard shonen, like Naruto and stuff.
Naruto always won. The only one he lost to was Neji.
Yeah. And
what the fuck was that shit? He was garbage.
Yeah, and it feels like he's got no reason to be able to win these fights. It's like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like the heart of the cards, right? Like, you're basically just writing in plot armor for your character. And I think that the story detracts so much.
No, but Deku's not skilled as these people. Like, in the last few episodes we watched, he's literally like, everybody else has had like 15 years to fucking figure their shit out. I don't have that, and I need to pick it up. Oh my god, he's so good. He's fucking amazing. He's so good. It's so cool.
Baller right now.
Yeah, it's fucking killer.
But he's still not just like god tier overpowered.
Mm-hmm. So technically we just finished the, what's his name? He has a name. I knew it before I was tipsy.
Hero Killer, right?
Yeah, the Hero Killer.
The Hero Killer.
So we finished...
He has a name. His name is not important.
It's Slain? I don't know what it is. It's SL something?
It's not Slade, because
No. I said Slain, but... I don't know what his name is, and I'm embarrassed. So...
His name is Seether, and he makes awful music.
Yeah, no, he's, So we finished that arc, and Deku is, like, just growing exponentially, and I love him. He's, like, my new anime son. He's very good.
Punch is even better.
Yeah, him and Atsushi are, like, my sons, and they're very good. Todoroki's been really cool. Doki Doki, Tododoki.
Yeah.
I love calling him Tododoki, because, no, that doesn't fit him at all, but Doki Doki.
Just, you want to talk about a frozen, ice-cold heart, like, it's that boy. Though, in the most recent episode, it sounds like he's being less of a frigid bitch.
Well, obviously, because he's using his fire powers, so he's melting it.
He's melting his ice-cold heart.
He is.
Less of a frigid
I mean, to be fair, he used his fire powers for, like, the first time in the tournament, and then he was like, I'm gonna go visit my mom.
Yeah. Speaking of which...
What the fuck?!
Such a cool character.
He is. He's fucking killer.
But he's easily, like, top 5 anime characters for me.
Yeah?
He's such a baller.
We found out that Aizawa is my husband. Reincarnated. Eraserhead is just you.
Yeah, wow.
Shows up to work. Has the opportunity to sleep. Sleeps. doesn't really sound like he wants to be here, even though he knows he has a sense of purpose.
Yep. It's me.
Yep, you used to keep your
Waluigi.
hair long. Yeah. I feel like if you could get away with wearing those goggles, you totally would. Wear sweatpants everywhere. Feel like that's you.
You're not wrong.
Yikes. Todoroki's mom. Can we discuss Todoroki's mom for a second?
Yeah, she's got ice power. She's super cool.
Crazy bitch!
Also, psychotic type.
Fucking psycho.
Though, to be fair...
She has been in a psych ward and has improved.
And, if you were taken from your home at... What was she, like, 16, 17? I think. Like, she was young when Endeavor basically said, hey, I'm buying you from your parents.
Yeah.
Because your powers are super cool, and I need to have a strong son.
Yeah.
And then she was basically... The way I understood it is she was basically kept...
Like, as a mom.
Yeah,
like, she was meant to be a mom.
Yeah, like, she's a housewife, but she can't leave. Like, she's only a housewife, not by her own choice.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a husband who might not be physically abusive,
but definitely
is a shitbag.
Though,
Like,
I will mention that, like...
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't excuse what she did.
No!
I think it's the perfect breeding ground for psychotic behavior.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I will point out that, like, when we were watching the sub, and then I watched the dub, when Endeavor put her into the hospital, when it was dubbed, like, when it was translated through dub, it was like, yeah, I took her to a psych ward. Like, I took her to the hospital. He says something to the effect of, like, oh, what does he say? But it wasn't implied that he just beat the hell out of her and put her in a hospital. In the sub, it was literally like, I put her in the hospital. Like,
did you break her
did
over
you...
your knee?
Yeah, like, did you beat her into submission and then put her in the hospital? Or did you take her to the hospital? I think he said take her. I took her to the hospital. Or put her in a hospital. Or put her in a hospital. I don't care. I don't know what he said. I know it sounded a lot less, like, aggressive.
Something to the effect of, I elbow dropped your mom and now she's in a hospital.
Oh, last battle of tournament arc. Super sick because Deku wasn't included.
Yeah.
Like, having Todoroki and Kacchan fight each other, fucking amazing. Super cool to watch those two go at it, and then watch Kacchan fucking lose his shit after he's... Yeah, okay, everybody knows
just
who
call him
Kacchan is.
Bakugan. That's what I do.
Holy shit. Holy shit. No, I just remember Kacchan because it's cute, but...
He's not cute.
He's so cute!
Psychopathic.
He is! He's adorable. He won't be adorable when he's an adult, but as a teenager, he's pretty cute. Hopefully he gets over that shit.
Teenagers scare the living shit out of... I can't do that.
We're gonna get a DMCA.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Edit that out. It's all good. No one knows who Panic at the Disco Boy is anyway.
My Chemical Romance. You fucking destroyed that one. Didn't even hit those people. You just gotta say My Panic at the Fallout Boy.
Day. Plan.
Stop it.
My Panic at the Fallout Day plan.
Fuck.
Which actually works when you think about it. Anyway, back on topic.
I like the fact that in the tournament arc, the idea of any of these kids getting picked up by a pro is sick. Because, like, it just means that they go in and they show their stuff. They don't have to win. They don't have to do well, necessarily, as long as they show what they can do in order to get picked up. Like, at the end, it was revealed that Uraraka got, like, you know, a lot of votes for her, and they were like, hey, could you...
Even her fight against Bakugan was sick. Like, I don't know, I always like people with sort of powers or abilities that seem non-combative.
But then they can make them.
when they find a way to turn that into, maybe not one that's insanely favorable for them, but, you know, workable. Something that can at least be used, if need be. I always found that really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say I'm disappointed with how quickly Creation Girl, I can't remember her name, how quickly she was knocked out. I feel like that was sort of just
I think that points out her...
a limp toss, where it's like...
I feel like a lot of the battles were like that, though.
Yeah,
and you like her
oh,
specifically as a character.
She got pushed out, you know, within 30 seconds because she didn't blah, blah, blah.
I think that points out, though, who she is as a person, right? Like, I think it was done for a reason. I don't think it was done just to...
because she was a character that was just never supposed to really get that much limelight.
I don't know, she's been in every ending and opening theme.
And I mean, she might later, but at least at that point in the story, at that point
I
in the
guess.
series, I feel
But
like
neither
she's
was
not...
Bird Boy at that point. Like, they used him in the chariot race, but after that
they
it wasn't
needed
like...
somebody to... And again, they used him in the chariot race, so he at least had some more ground built
Yeah.
for him.
I guess, like, the way...
So if you put those two together, he's the one that's been shown off more, I guess.
Yeah,
and
I guess...
probably the one that's more interesting in the later fights.
I think that's part of the reason they did it, though.
I
To
mean,
show off who she is as a person more.
I'm fine with her losing that fight, but the way it was done just felt...
Super fast.
Yeah, ham-fisted and just lazy to me.
I guess.
Like, it was like, oh yeah, she made a shield and then he pushed her out, and then it was over.
I don't think it was as much
like,
that as it was, like, actually pointing out that she... Like, to her, the way she's... Because she has the ability to create so many things, she has to specifically think about, what is the best for me to do in this situation.
Right.
And in an actual fight, that's a good thing. That you have to sit and, like, just the way that Deku does, he has to strategize before he can do anything. And I think she also has to strategize, but the fact that Bird Boy moves so quick, just means, like, because his is practically, autonomous. Because he's able to move so quick, it's almost just a bad matchup for her.
Yeah.
Because she has to consider, well, I guess a shield would be best. And by the time she, like, had thought about it, she had been pushed out of the ring. Like, she was already, she was specifically, yeah, and then he knocked her back with the shield. She was like, okay, here's how I retaliate. And then they were like, hey, you've been knocked out.
I don't know. And maybe it's just me misinterpreting the character, but I feel like she would have knowledge of, I've got a shield, I should watch my footing. Just because the way shields work,
I guess,
is if you don't have a solid center of balance, you just need to...
I guess that's what I mean, though, is because she has so many things that she can make, that she doesn't, she's not a master of all, she's like a jack of all trades, master of none. Because, like, she can make a shield. Does she necessarily know how to use a shield? Probably not. And I think that was the point they were making, that she just, hadn't practiced with it, and that was the point.
And it's not even, needing to know how to use the shield, it's just making sure that your feet are, watching. Because if you're getting pushed back, you would understand that you're getting pushed back, and you would know that there's a boundary to this arena that you can't cross or you're out. So the fact that she was just sort of, stunned, oh, I guess I got pushed out. I feel like...
That wasn't even it, though. She wasn't like, oh, I got pushed out. It was a matter of, okay, now I have to do this, and then Midnight was like, hey, you've been pushed out.
Right, but, when you're getting pushed back, you would think...
I guess...
That you would recognize that, hey, maybe I should move, because I've been pushed quite a far before it got to the point where you're out. But maybe it happened so fast, and whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not trying to argue that. I'm not
happy that it did.
I just almost like it better because it's more human, It's more human to make a mistake like that and go, oh, shit.
And,
than, it was to if she was just like, okay, well, I've used a shield, and, now I can retaliate and do this and that. I do wish the battle had lasted longer, and I don't like the fact that that was just, so quick.
Yeah.
She was just suddenly knocked out. But if that had been how it ended, that would have been fine.
A battle that they weren't really worried about how it turned out.
They did that with everybody that, wasn't,
it's they
though.
knew how they wanted the bracket to line up at the end, and they wanted to get there as fast as possible, so they just sort of pushed through it.
Give me just a
sec.
sec.
This has to happen, so I guess we'll make it happen in as little time as possible while still showing it.
Do I not even have the tournament arc? I don't have the tournament arc in manga. I'll get back to you guys in a couple weeks on, how that plays out in the manga. Because I'd love to do, anime manga comparisons with this series. Just because, I wonder if maybe they had, maybe they had fleshed it out in the manga more, and they just didn't have the airtime to do it in the anime.
And I would like that a lot.
That's what I mean, is I want to make sure it wasn't, just a thing that they did because of airtime, before we criticize it too much.
Stylistically, then that would be more upsetting than if it was just something that they had to cut.
Yeah.
Just, again, in the end, if you know how the fight turns out, the fight itself isn't super important because the characters aren't any of the main few.
Yeah, the main kids.
Bird Guy takes, third overall, I think, and it's not really important. He's just sort of, somebody has to be...
Well, and even then when All Might says, hey, you did good, third is, a proud place to be, and he's like, I know, I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I get it. I like him
Yeah.
as a character a lot because he's very down to earth.
Right, and I guess what I'm saying is, like, they knew Deku wasn't going to be there just because of the way the bracket lined up.
So they
He
wanted you
had
to be able
fight.
to root for somebody that you had seen previously.
Yeah, and it needed to be somebody,
Yeah.
right? And
Somebody
it wasn't gonna
recognizable.
be, yeah, it had to be someone recognizable, but it wasn't going to be any of the main characters because they had all been knocked out previously.
Right.
Or they were, in the final. They were going to beat the final.
Right.
So it's like, it has to be somebody. I guess it's him because we've seen him before. Mm-hmm. And the fight doesn't really have any impact on the story.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
just get it over with. And, like, I can see how that happened, but you're right, I've got a personal investment in both those characters, so
Yeah.
I just like to see it drawn out because I think they're super cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's kind of one of those things with, like, cast this big. You don't really know. This is just going to be a Boku no Hero podcast, I swear to God, because we haven't discussed anything at length except Boku, because we get to
Because the
Boku
rest
and...
of it is garbage.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst part about it is when we do topical stuff like this. But, yeah, like, that's a problem you get into with tournament anime, right? Because you get so excited about characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you feel with Naruto? Because I know you like Neji a lot, but,
Yeah,
like,
it was
Neji
like-
wasn't covered at all, except
Oh,
for the last battle.
I was pissed because my favorites were Neji and Dara, and Dara got
Gara got enough
fucking
time, I
robbed
think.
by Rock Lee, who, if you like Rock Lee, please kill yourself.
I like
I'm
Rock
telling
Lee.
you right now, get a bottle of Clorox TM bleach, make yourself a nice bleach and tonic cocktail, and do the world a favor.
I like Rock Lee, but not in the way
Joking,
that, like...
please don't kill yourself, because if you do, now I'm liable. Thank you.
I don't know, and I think Gara got enough time, but Neji definitely.
Yeah.
Neji was shoved under the bus. Like, the only time he got information about him was with the Hinata thing where he was a villain, and then with the Naruto thing where he was a villain. But, like, he was a real guy with real interests and real, goals.
And easily the most interesting character in that series, fucking fight me. Just in terms
I mean, I
of-
wouldn't argue. He's a very good character. I don't know. And it's the same thing. Like, you get yourself attached to a character, and that character doesn't always get focused on, and you're kind of upset about it. Like, I get it in series all the time. Like, Psycho-Pass, my favorite character was the ginger kid.
Yeah.
Like, he had red hair, and I thought he was cute. I thought he was really funny. And then, like, in the last episode, for no reason, stop. He was just, like, trucked under the bus, killed. In the last episode, in the last, like, 5 minutes, he was killed for no fucking reason at all. And that just enraged me, because it was like, I like this minor character, he doesn't get any screen time, and then you fucking kill him for no reason, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, like, with series with big casts like this, you get into the issue where you do that. Like, you get attached to a character, and you want to see them fleshed out, and they just never get to that point. Because there's just almost not enough time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. And I hope that they build on it and they flesh out these characters more. Mm-hmm. Just as a lot of them are super interesting, and I think that this series could go super far, as long as it doesn't try too hard to focus on just its, like, main trio.
Yeah.
Or whatever. As long as they can keep all the characters at least relevant.
And I think it has, because, like, even through this arc where they're interning with pros,
Yeah, they do
they're
show
cut
them.
away to Uraraka, they're
Yeah.
cutting away to,
And even
all
if
these
it's not
people.
for a long time, it doesn't
No,
have
it's
to be.
it still says, hey, they're still here,
Yeah,
they're still
here,
doing stuff.
They're still alive. And I think Naruto,
Did that. Like, it focused on the main trio
Yeah.
constantly.
and it worked for them, but I think if you wanted to do something different and something better nowadays,
Yeah, you just
wouldn't go
can't.
that
You
route.
can't go Naruto anymore. Like, Naruto was fun because we all watched it as kids and we all just kind of stuck with it. I do like the idea that this series gives off to kids. That, like, you don't have to succeed. You don't have to be the best, right? You can be...
Just be an otaku, live in your mom's basement, jerk off to your waifu pillow every
Oh
day.
my
You'll be
God.
fine.
I'm just saying, like, you don't have to succeed, you don't have to win the contest, right?
Yeah, no, you don't have to be number one.
But if you do enough and show what you can do,
Yeah.
and you can be enough to be, useful to people, to be helpful, and, almost, like, heroic. If you can do something to help people in a heroic way, it's okay.
You
Like,
don't
that's
have to
all
be
you
number
need to
one
do.
as long as you're not a piece of shit.
Exactly. Like, you don't have to be number one as long as you can show your stuff. And I think that's a great message for kids. Like, I don't see it as much anymore because, like, we're to the era of people, like, just being enraged about everyone gets a trophy, you know, and like, yeah, that's not great that everyone gets a trophy. At the same time, like, kids don't have to be the best to be worth something. You know, stop. Don't be awful about it. I do agree. Like, I think
No, like you don't have to be the best,
if you can be the best,
but
do
I
it.
think
But
the series does well in recognizing that people who put in a lot of effort are rewarded,
people who work hard
and
are
there's
rewarded.
going to be someone who has natural talent and is probably better than you.
Like Todoroki, who's
But
just
as long as you try hard and you put in an honest effort, you will probably get rewarded.
I think that's the thing with Bakugo, right? Like, that's why he irritates me so much, because he sees Todoroki and he's just fucking pissed. He's just
Yeah.
mad because
Well,
he's
okay.
better than him because he was born that way. Like, yeah, people are better than you because they're born that way. Get over it and
So
work
he's
hard.
upset, and the way I see it, right? He's upset because he, from where he came from, was Todoroki.
So now he's just like,
Right.
big fish in a big, or small fish in a big pond.
Yeah,
He
like
was the big fish
yeah.
in the little pond, but
Yeah,
now
he was
he's...
his all-star football All-American team captain
literally,
at his high school,
the quarterback in high school going to college and not
realizing he has
being
to
the
play
best.
second string. Yeah,
Yep.
and he's fucking pissed about it.
And I get that, but at the same time, it kind of enrages me because, like, the boy's 15. It's time to realize that sometimes people are better than you.
No, that's not gonna happen for another
You're right, at 15.
maybe ever.
I forgot what
Maybe
15
ever. I
is.
mean,
So, I think, like, I don't know, I just like the message it sends, especially for a series that's, like, I like the way that it's geared towards kids, and I like the message it sends towards kids, because I think it's a great message to say, you know, you can do well if you work hard. You don't have to be the best, but you can do well. And, like, even if you come from a place where you're, like, the best, eventually you're gonna come to terms with the fact that, like, you might not be someday. And I think that's almost why I don't like Bakugo, because, like, I don't know, I like him. I like him plenty. I think he's kind of fun to hang around with, like, as a character. I think he's a cool guy. I don't know, like, I know if I had met him, same, like, if I had met him, I'd be like, I don't really want to be around you. I think you're kind of a prick and you need to chill. Like, like, he'd be the kind of person that I'd be straight up telling, look, you're big fish in a little pond where you're from, but, like, that's not how it is up here. You're surrounded by the best of the best, so you better start working if you want to be the best. I think that's almost why it irritates him so much, because, like, he thinks he's the best, and now that he's finding out that he's not the best, he has to work harder to be the best. And that's gotta be just so frustrating, to, like, have to work to do it. Regardless, we could talk about Bakugo all day. I think, actually, with this latest arc, Ida might be getting really dark. Like, even though we kind of resolved it in the last episode, like...
he got there, and he was there for a moment.
I guess I'm a little worried that he's not quite over it, though.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say he's over it. I would say he's not going to be that way permanently.
No.
He's definitely...
I just mean, like, the series
next
and all.
episode.
I don't mean Ida specifically, I mean the series and all. I think it's gonna start getting a little bit darker.
Probably once. So, they put out season 1, and I guarantee you they've got someone looking at metrics and who's watching and when and whatever. And they're saying that the age base that this is appealing to now, and it's not just your 14, 15-year-old kids who are shonen anime are more geared towards, then I wouldn't be surprised if it just slowly started getting darker and more, I guess, based around a core fan base that's a bit older now.
I guess. The problem with it is it's, like, specifically based on the manga. So,
Right.
like, they don't change things just because of the demographic. And
No,
it's
I'm
still in
saying that might
Shonen
not
Jump,
be
which is...
to the anime.
No,
Even
but to
when
the manga.
manga
Yeah, I'm
first
sure.
came out, they might have done the same
Well,
thing.
and most series do that. Like, they get darker as they go. Like, they
Yeah.
introduce you with some kind of light-hearted things. But, like, they get darker as they move on, and I think that's good for them. Because, like, it creates depth to the story. And I'm kind of really... I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I think it's really exciting that it's going to get a little bit darker. With, like, hey, pro heroes aren't exactly, you know, fun and games.
Yeah, no. Like
They deal
you're
with shit that's really scary all the
fighting
time.
People that want to murder people
Yeah.
or steal or whatever. Like, it's not a happy-go-lucky profession.
No. And All Might might seem happy all the time, but he's happy because he's helping people.
Shot in the fucking chest.
Lamau. So that's pretty much all I want to cover on Boku. We can talk about it more next week, but
Yeah.
right now it's
Well,
getting to be a lot. Yeah.
You say like you're worried that we're becoming like a Boku podcast, but it's really hard not to when it's the anime this season that
Is
has
like,
the most interesting characters.
it's
has the
shining. It's
most, yeah, it has
amazing.
the most interesting storyline. Everything else just sort of falls flat compared to it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure next season, if something comes out that's as good or better, hopefully, then we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that more than what we'll talk about what everything is.
But
I'm Yanni Senpai, and you can find me on my Twitter at Yanni_Senpai. You can find me also on my anime list under the same name.
you can find me on my anime list at Zanric, Zanric. You can find our Facebook page at Weeb and Tonic, which is the @ Weeb and Tonic, all one word. Our Twitter is also under the same name. We do have a Discord server that you can join if you wish to. The link for that can be found in the description of this video.
Our intro and outro music is Hasdao by Minus, used under a Romanian Fair Use Act. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, please send a message to our Facebook or an email to weebandtonic@gmail.com. That's WEEBANDTONIC @gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.